time to celebrate, looking back at what we've done, what we've accomplished together, and looking forward.
Futurewise has done an incredible job.
What we accomplished 20 years ago was incredible. Most of us would have bet money it wouldn't have happened, and it did.
And we've really changed the whole discussion. People are now talking about those issues and to varying extents trying to do something about it. Mid and late 80s, there was tremendous amounts of growth in the area, and schools were overcrowded, farms and forests were disappearing.
And citizens were getting impatient with the lack of governmental action.
A lot of citizens up and down the I-5 corridor, Western Washington, that what they knew as their heritage, they wanted protected long term.
So I was working with a commission to help develop for the governor and the legislature the approach we should take to growth management in our state. And these guys were pushing on the envelope to saying, this is what should be in it, and we need to make sure it's adopted.
We had a visionary speaker, Joe King, who saw the problem.
You really need to have a watchdog agency and somebody to help bird dog the legislature and local governments. My fiercest allies would be the 6 strongest women in the legislature who became the Steel Magnolias. I knew Maria was right behind me every step of the way, just poking me either in the chest or in the back, saying, don't you get stopped under here, you get this going. Jeanette Hayner we called the Margaret Thatcher of American politics.
If you had to point to one single thing that made that happen, it was Jeanette Hayner twisting arms in her caucus and saying, no, we're going to do this.
There was a citizen effort that came together. There was recognition in the legislature that something needed to be done. And so essentially, those two efforts started working together.
The investments that we've put in back then and over the last 20 years have paid off in farms that haven't been paved over, in forests that are still growing trees, and in the kind of rural areas and cities that people want to live in.
Well, the important consequence of growth management is that we have to change the way we live.
That if people are going to live in a neighborhood, they need to be involved in terms of what's going to be developed.
I think it's super important for individuals to reduce their carbon footprint, and one of the best ways for individuals to do that is to get out of their cars and start walking.
Walkable neighborhoods are a silver bullet solution for some of the greatest problems we face. Climate change, health and obesity, even the economic crisis.
Futurewise is really thinking about those long-range issues.
I want to be able to hike here in 20 years. I want to be able to go to the beach here. All that's very important to me.
What's your favorite things to do outside?
There's 2. Can I tell you both of them? Skiing and snorkeling.
I feel like Futurewise really gets it. We really get it. We're all committed to working together, and the stronger that Futurewise is, the more effective they can be in building those kinds of partnerships.
The people involved in Futurewise understand the big picture, understand the long term.
So I absolutely support Futurewise. They're really both aggressive in making sure that the right things are done in rural areas, and also to encourage people and show people how we can have great places to live in urban areas.
Futurewise is specifically there to protect our quality of life in Washington.
In tangible terms, you've got, as a result of the Growth Management Act, you have probably over 1 million acres of land, of forest lands and farmlands that are protected under the Act.
One county, Walla Walla County, resulted in the designation of some additional 700,000 acres of agricultural lands.
In Spokane County, Futurewise has protected over 1,000 acres of farmland from being converted into concrete.
If you care about where your kids are going to live, or if you care about where you're going to retire, if you care about any of that stuff, Futurewise is the group you need to invest in, because their work is the key to our ability to make progress on all those issues.
Seattle is going to be a model for the entire country and the entire world, and it's Futurewise that's going to make us the shining example.
Well, I hope they would think about not stopping here. That there is still much to be done. We've got to find ways to do it.
No, I'm here to stay.